Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel called Tricks. So we were doing a tic-tac-toe game and this is where we stopped on the last video. So we could easily play against the computer now, but there's no way to detect whether we win or not, and there's no way we could track our score here, and we could not even select whether we want a single player mode or a multiplayer mode. So let's work on that in this video. So the first thing I want us to do now is to make sure all our buttons are disabled when we initially enter the game. So how do we do that? So we can now just have a function here and we call this button status. So and I would like it to have an argument in case I want to use it to activate button later on instead of disabling the button. So now what do we want to do here now? We want to have all the buttons, right? Let's start with button one dot configure. Yep, just configure. Then we want the state. We want to set the state equals to what? We want to set the state to the status. That's the argument we pass into this place. So I want to repeat this same thing for all our buttons. So how do we do that? Just copy and paste this. Sorry about that. So let's just copy this, paste it several times. Okay, then we can make this button 2, button 3, button 4, button 5, button 6, button 7, button 8, and button 9, which is the last button. So here now we are just declaring all these buttons. We are declaring all of them to be so. If we should remove this and just call button status I will set it to disabled. So we could try running this and see. You can see that all our buttons initially are disabled. So that is the first thing we actually want to do. So we'll give it time to either select multiplayer or single player mode. So that's what we want to do. So the next function now we want to have is our multiplayer function. So and how is it going to be? So let's just collapse up this, okay? So we could view it more. So let me have my multiplayer function here. You can just have the multiplayer, right? So let's say multiplayer here, and we need no argument here. So we want to have the global multi-state. I think I haven't defined that multi-state. Okay, let me just have it here, and let me go ahead and define that variable here. Just have multi-states. Okay. So yes, let me have multi-state here. And initially let's set it to false. I want our multi-state to be initially false. So then we have the global multi-state equals to false. And now whenever we call this multiplayer, we want to set that multi-state to true. And after we set it to true now, we want to determine who is to play the game. So we are going to use this function we use initially doing our computer, and I think when we are clicking the button here, this turn counter. So you could just like copy the same thing here. So let's have it this way and just let us paste it here. So we are going to have it exactly like this. So this is how we want our multi-state function to be. So the next one we want to have now, the next function we are going to have now is our game mode. And what do you mean by game mode? Is it a multiplayer mode or a single player mode? So we can just call it game mode here. So when we have it as game mode, then we have an argument called mode here. So this is the function that will be attached to our multiplayer button and single player button. So when we have it like this, okay, we want to have a variable here, global multi-state. So when we have that global multi-state, what do we want to do? Once this function has been called, we want to enable all the buttons here, which we initially disabled. So all those buttons we initially disabled, the first thing we did in this video, we want to enable all of them. We want to make them active. So now what do we want to do? We want to check if this argument, which we call mode, so we want to check if this mode is equals to single. So if this mode is equals to single, we have to set multi-state to false. Yes, multi-state is going to be false then. That means we don't want it to be a single player game. And after multi-state is equal to false, we want the computer to be the one playing. Yeah. So the computer is going to be the one playing. And otherwise, which else statement here? What do we want to do? We want this multi-state to be equal to what? We want this multi-state. Multi-state. Yeah, we want the multi-state to be equal to true. And when this multi-state is equal to true, we want the multiplayer to be the one playing. Yeah, so we want it like that. We want the multiplayer to be the one playing. So after all this, what do we want to do? We don't want during the game the player should be able to have access to the single player button and the multiplayer button. So due to that, we want to disable both the single button and the multiplayer button. So the player won't be able to have access to it. So it won't go and create box. Let's put it that way. So we want the state to be disabled. And we want to repeat the same thing for the multi button. So let's have it as multi button like that. So we want these two of them to be disabled. So what are we going to do next here now? So next thing is we want to go into our button click environment. So let's just say okay, go to button click here. Okay, this is the function here. So what do you want to do in this button click environment? Initially, every time after the button click, we go on computer play, right? And that's single player mode. But now we want to be able to determine whether we want it to be single player mode or multiplayer mode. So what do we do here? We have to check again if multi-state is equal to, we want to check if multi-state is equal to true, right? Yeah, if multi-state is equal to true, we know we are in a single player mode, right? So if multi-state is equal to 2, we know you're in a multiplayer mode. So we want to call the multiplayer function and not the computer play. So, and else now, we want to call the computer play function. So this is how we are going to do it. So else we want to call the computer play function. So this is how it's going to be. And what's the next thing to do here now? You can see if you even try to play this game now, you can see it's disabled and this is not yet working. Now why is this happening? It's because we've not connected our game mode function to our single player button. So if we should scroll down here, okay, yes, a little bit up. Okay, coming. Okay, now these are multiplayer and single player button. So we want to connect this. I want to have command. So we want to have command. So let's have it like this. I want to call the game mode function, right? Then now for this single player button, we want the game mode parameters to be single. The argument, yeah. Then we want this to be multi. So we could try this again now. Try running this again. I will see. Whenever I select single, automatically this button will be disabled and we are playing against the computer. So you can see that's how it is. So you could end the game here and you could just like, okay, let's do it again. And this time around, let's go for multiplayer. So we can see initially no game was played. So 1 O X O X O X like that. So we could end the game here like this. So what's the next thing we want to do now? Is so this is how we are going to go. So how do we check when a player has win or the computer has win? So this is how our button is represented to the computer. So we have it like this: button 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So what you initially want to do to check, normal Tic-Tac-Toe game is just checking if one of these environments is like prime. Like if we have same letter in button 1 space, button 2 space, and button 3, we want to declare that, okay, if there's same letter, I want to tell that the player playing with this letter has won the game. So, and if we have same letter this way in the diagonal way, we want to say the player using this letter, whether X or O, has won the game. So this is how we want it to be. But how can we've represented our button like this with these figures to the computer? This is how the computer is interpreting each button like this, and this is how the computer is able to make its own choice. So let's just see. So we want it to like be like this now. We want to check if we want to like at some period in the computer game, maybe after every single play, we want to check if it's the same letter we have in this diagonal, or this diagonal, or vertically like this. In this way, we want to check these combinations. If we're having the same letter, either X or O, we want to check if we're having the same letter here and use the result to increase the score of either the player or the computer, or if either it is in multiplayer mode. So we can also check it this way, and we just want to check this different combination to know who is winning the game or who has won the game. So let's implement this into our code. So now what we want to do is that we want to know a way that we can check if a player has win, and we can give a sign that this player has win, player 1 has win, or player 2 has won the game. So based on the diagrams I showed you previously, now what we are going to do now is we are going to have a function called check winner, and this function is going to be like this. Now we're going to have this function called check winner, and we will first want to define some global variable, which is our winner global variable. Yeah, I think that should be the first thing we should have now. And what we want to check initially now is, okay, initially we should set this winner to an empty string on every function. And what we want to do now, we want to check now if the text in these buttons are the same thing. So what I'm going to do now is check if the text in button 1 is equal to X, right? And if the text in button 2 too is equal to X. So we will check to if the text in button 3 now. I know you should be able to visualize that we are working on the first line now. That's the first, second, and third button now. Check if the text in button 3 now is also equal to X. So this is how we're going to do it now. So when we check if this text is, so we are checking the combination of these three texts also equals to X, right? So sorry, this should be 2 also equals to X now. So now if they are equals to X, what do we want to do? We want to set this winner now equals to player 2, because we want our player 2, our X to be player 2, and after that we want those buttons to like change color to red, so the player can know that, wow, so it can be like bolding that this person has won the game. So it's not text this time and it's BG, that's background color. We want to set it to red. So we want to do the same thing for this other buttons. Okay, let's have button 2 here, button 3 here. So we want to set them to red. So it's going to be like this. And after that, we want to have our button status now. We want to disable those buttons so that once a player has won, you cannot still press the button. They will be disabled. Then you either restart the game. Yeah, the only choice you have is to restart the game or to end the game once one of the players has won the game. So we can just repeat this same thing now for like the second one, and it's going to be like if now, and this time around is going to be button. Okay, we can just have this time around is going to be button 3, then to be button 3, 4, and 5, like that. So I'm just going to check the text for button 3. So button 3 now, then this one will be button 4, then button 5 to check diagonally. So once you've done this in every possible ways for X player to win, that should be 8 now. It should give you 8 possible ways, which is 3 vertically, 3 horizontally, then 2 diagonally. That's 8. Then you are going to just copy same thing all over again and repeat same thing for letter O. So I will just copy and paste my code here. Okay, sorry about that. I will just copy and paste mine. So what I'll do is just paste my code here and walk you through it. So now you can see now we have button 1, button 2, button 3, and we have 4, 5, 6, and we have 7, 8, 9. Then we have button 1, 4. Yeah, button 1, 4. 7. This for the vertical axis now. And after this now, you see that we have the diagonal areas here, which is button 1, 5, and 9. Then we have button 3, button 5, and button 7. That's for the diagonal. For here now, you now see that we are repeating same thing for the second player. And this time we are setting the winner to what? Player 1. And you are checking if the letters is equal to letter O and not existent. So you repeat the same thing all over again. So now we could try this out and see. So we could try multiplier. So let us do this. So we can see now, but once it has, okay, I think there's a problem here. Let's check that out. Okay. Okay, let's try this again. Okay. Okay. Oh, yeah. We are made to put this function in our button click function. So whenever we are made to put this check winner here, this check winner function here, we are made to call it. So we want to call this function whenever a move is made in the game, after a move has been made. So we could try this again now, and yeah, you can see now. But now I can still press a button after the game has been won already, and you can see this is giving us this now because after the game has been won, computer was able to like pick a choice there. So what we want to do now is disable the button automatically after the game has been won. So how do you do this? So not just disable the button, we might want to like, okay, let's disable the button first, or just have, okay, let's have another function called game ended here, where we could just disable the button and we could stop the computer too from picking any choices. So we can just set the possible choices to an empty set. So let's have end game here. Okay, end game. And inside this end game, all we want to do is just have a global, okay, possible choices. Then, okay, and after that, I want to call this button status. And we want to disable all these buttons. We want to disable all these buttons. Then after now, we want to what? Oh, okay. We want to set these possible choices to an empty set, so the computer will not be able to make any choices again, any choice again. So what we want to do now is just call that function after every on here. So end game, right? It's okay. We have this here, end game. So I just copy and paste it, paste this. Okay, let's do this way. So yeah, so let's just paste it here in game. So we have it here like this. So let's just walk through this and make sure that we pasted it everywhere. Okay, I missed one here. There's another one here. So make sure it is pasted everywhere actually, and this place was twice. Okay. So now let's try it again now and let's see. Single player. Okay, you can see after now the buttons are disabled and you could only restart or end the game. So what we want to do next now, we want to be able to update the scores because we can see it is not actually giving us, like, it's not taking note of our scores. So what we want to do now is have another function here. I will call this def update scores, right? Update score. So and here now we want to have the player of which score which you are updating. So we want to check here now. I want to have a global variable called, okay, winner here. And what we want to do here now, we want to check if this player equals to, we should have a variable here called player1 score, player1 score, then equals to player2 score. Then we want to initially set all of them here to 0. So let's have it this way. Then in our update score, we want to have this player 1 score and player 2 score too. So we want to check if this player is equal to what? Player 1. If this player is equal to player 1, what do we want to do? We want to increase that player 1 score. And hell if this player is equal to what? Player 2, right? Player 2, right? We want to what? Sorry about that. We want to increase player 2 score. And how do we do that? It's just plus equal 1, then plus equal 1. So this is how we want to do it. Yes, I think it should break it like this. We don't need this. So where do we want to call this function is when we are checking the winners, right? And here we are setting the winner. So what we want to do here is call this function update score. And now when we are updating the score, we want to put in the winner as a parameter there. So I think we copy this again. So let's just repeat same thing all over again. The way we pasted our endgame function. So let's do that too. So if we want to repeat that now, let's have our way through that. So what else are we doing now? So we can just let's paste this and kind of repeated it here again. So you could let's cross check this. Okay, we missed one here. Let's paste it here. So what else are we doing? Okay, let's paste it here again. So we've pasted it now. So let's one more thing. In this our update score function, we want to update our score label. So we can just have score label here. Our score label, I want to configure the text there. And how do we configure the text? Let's have it this way. So text now, I want to set the text, and now we are going to have a formatted string. Because yes, we want to call some things from some variables. I want to have a letter O first. So letter O now, we want to set this to player 1 score. Then after that, we want to have then we want to have player 2 score. Player 2 score then followed by our letter X then. So let's have it this way. Okay, and now let's try the game again. Okay, you can see now letter O is having 1. So and we could not restart the game now. So let's work on the restart function now. So how do we restart the game? We could just have another function here and we call it restart. Okay, restart game. And in this now we want to reset most of our things and want to reset the possible choices to what? 1. Okay, we should have this. Okay, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 9. So let's make this global first. Global possible choices, right? So once we set that, once we set our winner, we want to set our player score. No, we are not resetting that. So yes, we want to have now. Okay, we want to set the winner to an empty string. What else do we want to have here now? Okay, we want all our buttons to be cleared. Okay, so now from button 1, all the buttons, button 1 now, we want all the text to be clear, right? To be an empty string back. So let's have this. So we just copy this and let's paste it different times. So let's paste this different times and let's have it coming. So let's have this as button 2, button 3, button 4, button 5, button 6, button 7, button 8. So now the last one, button 9. So we want to clear all these buttons. So let's just try this out. Let's attach this to our restart button and let's try this out. Where is the button? Okay, I think we have it down here. So let's attach this to our restart button and let's just have it as command equals to what? Restart. Okay, restart game. So let's try this now. So single player. So now we start it. Now we want to reset the colors too. Yeah, we want to reset the colors so everything should be like clear. So where's the function? Right here. So we want to do the same thing here and just let's set this color to what? Okay, let's just have this. BG. So I think this should work. Let's see it. Okay. Okay. This is not working for the color. So let's have it as white. Let's have it as white. Sorry. Let's have it as white. So okay. I think this color was gray before. Let's try gray. Okay, it's good to go with it. Now we can go with it now. So when we start the button now, when we have this, what do we want to do? After this, we want to have our single button active. Yes, we want our single button state. We want the state to be active actually. We want it to be active. Then we want our we want our multi button too to be active. We want the state to be active too. We want the state to be what? Sorry, active. So we can start playing the game all over again. So let's do this. Okay, restart. Single. Okay, restart. So we can see our game is working well here. Let's just make some little modification. I think we should leave this as white. So let's have it as white here. So let's run this game again. Okay, I see that now we can't make any choices again until we restart the game and we could select multiplayer this time around. Okay, we start the game again. Single. Okay, we are winning now. Let's start the game and let's make O win this time around. Okay, now O is leading. So it worked this way well. So now I think we have our game complete and functioning and working well with our score labels and everything. So thank you very much for coming this far and taking a look at this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, smash the subscribe button, turn off the notification bell, like this video, and I will put the source code of this project on GitHub and put the link right in the description there. So see you next time.